So we have been implementing AI solutions in recruitment agencies for almost a year now, and I wanted to start this series on my YouTube. This is going to be around 10 episodes of the top 10 highest leverage things that I would implement into my recruitment agency in 2026 with AI. So without further ado, let's get into the first episode. I'm going to break down exactly what these automations are and how you can start using them yourself. If you want to learn a little bit more around how to incorporate AI into your business, join our school community below. And if you want someone to do this for you so you don't have to, we have a link in the description for you to take a look at. So without further ado, enjoy the video. So the very first automation in this series of what you can implement as a recruitment agency is going to be your MPC automation flow. MPC stands for most placeable candidate, and this is also the same as speccing or marketing out candidates that you have on your desk. I know this is an extremely time-consuming process for recruiters. However, it works. It just works. It brings in business, and most of our clients and everyone I've spoken to previously in the industry has used this to get results from their outbound campaigns. The reason people don't do it very often is because it's just so time-consuming. Now, this is the perfect example of where AI can come in and make a real impact to this sort of issue. Right? We know the more NPCs that we get out, the more great candidates that we're speccing to very specific target accounts, we will generate more results. What's stopping us is the time, and also probably your conceptions around AI. I'm sure as I'm talking about this already, you're starting to think, how will it be able to get the exact right fit companies that I'm looking for? And how can I get the messaging so it's confidential and doesn't show any information about the candidate? There will be all these questions that are coming up, and I'm going to show you step by step today exactly how we do this and actually how we've built a software product to do this for our clients automatically with the highest degree of accuracy possible. So let's go through this automation flow. I'm sure you already know how this works from a manual perspective if you're a recruiter. But let's go through it, right? So what we have here is an automation that we have actually built. I'm going to show you exactly how it works in just a second with an example CV that I've named my own. But I want to show you what this flow looks like, right? So instead of you getting the NPC on your desk or the really good candidate and then you having to go on LinkedIn and research these companies and find the companies manually that this candidate would be a good fit for, ones that are hiring, speak to other candidates to find out about competitors, we don't need to do any of that. All we simply need to do is upload the candidate into our AI system, okay? This includes obviously the name, the role, the skills, the location. The AI then scans this candidate, okay? And it does a profile enrichment. So it finds their seniority, sector, and the value proposition of that candidate. Because I think the reason why NPCs really work well is you're selling the achievements of the candidate. You're selling the value proposition of what that person can bring into an organization. And we want to capture that. Okay, once the AI, obviously the trained AI, has done this profile enrichment to break down all the sectors where this candidate makes the biggest impact, what impacts they have, etc., we can then build the target account list. This is AI, once again, building this target account list for us. So it will do a very specific ICP match on the sector, size, location to make sure these target accounts are as relevant as physically possible. So it will do matching and scoring based off if this company is local to the candidate, if it has the specific skill set. So for example, let's say a candidate is skilled in NetSuite and they use NetSuite, right, or a different system. We want to find companies that specifically use NetSuite, okay? And this is what AI is capable of doing with its deep web research capabilities. So build a target account list of around 20 to 50 companies is what we typically recommend. You can do more than that, but that's going to be a really accurate mix of companies that we can then spec this candidate out to. What it will then do is go on to verify this account data. So check different intent signals. This means that we know we're reaching out to companies with the highest level of intent to need this person. We'll check hiring intent, i.e. if this company has a job posting, funding, headcount, what's happening to headcount growth. So we know that we're going to this person at the right specific time. Okay, and then we'll have a fail-safe, a gateway with the AI, making sure that these accounts are valid and they meet the threshold of what you're looking for. Let's say you need to work with companies that are between seed and Series B. They need to have raised funding. If it doesn't find 20 to 50 that have raised funding in that initial sweep, it will go and find more for you. Okay, and once you've had the list of companies that are a good fit for this particular candidate, it will then go ahead and find the contacts. Now this is going to be where it gets even more specific. Okay, so I know if you're doing this manually, you're going to be looking for the hiring manager of that particular role. So let's say we're placing developers, right? You might be looking at talking to the CTO, the head of product, the head of engineering, rather than just the CEO founder. Never really go to HR and talent. That's what we've trained our AI models to do, because we never see the most effectiveness there. We always want to go to the direct hiring manager of that position. Once we've found those contacts and validated those email addresses, it will then create personalized messaging for each contact at the company. This is all AI doing all of this. It's absolutely incredible. I can't wait to show you in a minute how this process actually looks. Now, one of the most important bits is, of course, still the human element. We need the human review. So we need the recruiter or yourself to approve the results, make some edits if you wish, and then we can upload the campaign into your email sending tool, whether that's SmartLead, Instantly, Sourcewell, you name it, whatever it is as a recruiter that you're using, we can simply plug the APIs into the AI system and launch those campaigns automatically. Then AI will track the responses, outcomes, and start to, over time, optimize for the best result. So if you know your sales candidates are consistently booking you the most meetings, we can start to prompt the AI system to do more with those sales candidates in your ATS or in your candidate pool. So that's how it works at a high level. That's a lot of me talking about how it works. Let's actually show you with this tool that we've built called SourceFlip. So this is in my own account. You can see we've gone through 554 companies. We've run many candidates through this, and it's working really well for us at the moment. So I basically just built a fake CV or fake resume for myself, saying that I'm a senior commercial construction manager in California with these credentials. So I've downloaded this. What we want to do is start a new run on the SourceFlip tools. This is an example of an AI system you could be using for your MPC automation. I'll just upload my CV here, tick our terms of use privacy policy, and start reading the resume. Now what AI is doing is scanning the resume or the CV up and down to find specific information about the candidate. Okay, so it's going through this part here, which is the AI profile enrichment before we start building the target account lists. So this might take a minute or so. Okay, it's done it, great. So it's pulled my name, location. Okay, so it's used the location from my resume, and then you can add in recruiter notes here as well if you so wish. So if you have transcripts of calls or interviews with this candidate and we want to add even more detail, we can add them into recruiter notes here. Also, if there's specific companies they've mentioned they want to reach out to, don't want to reach out to, add that in recruiter notes here. For now, I'll just let this continue to do the search. So now what it's going to do is actually start to build this target account list for us. Okay. At the same time, through that process, it's going to verify that account data, find the contacts, the specific hiring managers of this position, and craft the personalized messaging. So this process that it's going through now is doing all of those steps from 3 to 6 and taking us to the human review stage. So if we just go through here, it's continued to scanning it. Okay, perfect. It's asking for how many companies and how many contacts we want to reach out to now. Just for this example, we'll do 10 companies to make it run quicker with 3 contacts at each. Let's just verify that, make sure that's all good. You can review the industries that it's suggesting we reach out to. So here it says construction, commercial real estate, architecture, civil engineering, with all of the keywords, lots and lots of detail. It's recommend we reach out to the COO, the director of development, head of construction, VP of construction, director of construction. So all of these titles are spot on. So what I'm going to do now is start the run. And like I mentioned just a minute ago, it's going to go through those steps from 3 to 6. Find the specific account information, verify the account information, and even score it as to why it has been picked. Then give us the specific contacts at each of those companies and craft personalized messaging for those companies as well. So you can see it's going to give us companies, contacts, emails, and everything in between. Also, obviously saving the criteria that we've used. So if I want to rerun this candidate into a different field or different space, I can also do. So as you can see already, it's starting to return some companies for me. It's giving me these construction companies, the size of the company, the score, and I can click on each of these individual companies and figure out why they've been picked. So it looked like this headcount growth for this company is fantastic. They're continuing to grow. It looks like my background aligns with their transferable operating and growth experience. They're an excellent match. It's given scoring for different reasons: industry, geography, company size, relevance, and even the email template that we can use. So very specific to this company. So we can see that Webcore is running a 1.2 billion revenue headcount over the past year, meaning project teams are carrying more on the concurrent scope. Okay, given a little bit about me, these 3 bullet points as the MPC, and then sending this out to the director, VP, and senior project director. So these are the people that would be willing to receive this email. So you can see it's given me here 10 companies that will be a good fit for this particular CV. And we can simply then just export these into our sending tool. So if it's Lemlist, we'll export them to Lemlist. SmartLead, Instantly, Sourcewell, whatever it is, and we can launch these campaigns automatically. So that is showing you some of what AI can possibly do in the recruitment space. It is incredible. I'm very excited for this series. This is just episode 1. So if you want to learn more about it, like I say, some links are in the description. Please subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you on episode 2. Thanks for tuning in.